Welcome to another session of geography. Today we are looking at action of rivers, or at times we call it river action. Let's start with the definition of a river as a mass of water flowing over the land in a definite channel. That you see water flowing. When you say definite channel, we are meaning we are not going to see water flowing today, then the other day is not there. No, this channel is there, well defined. At times we say well defined. You see it, well developed, and the water flows within this channel. So when you see this, it's a river. Work of a river. We talk about drain excess water from the land. So the water which would have been there, we say logging, flows within the river from one point of the land to the other. So this is what it means by draining excess water from the land. Then sculpturing the land through erosion, transportation, and deposition. Yeah. In its activity, it does not leave the land the way it is, the way it was. So the land is, when you say sculpturing, is changed. We could even say it is damaged. So let's look at river erosion, how it happens. So we are saying river erosion, this is the removal by river water of minerals from the sides and the bed of the river valley. When we say sides, this is what we call the banks of the river. Then the bed, that is the bottom or inside that channel of the river. So we are saying the removal of river water of materials. This is the removal by river water of materials from the sides, that's the banks, and the bed, the bottom, the river channel. Factors influencing river erosion. What will dictate how much material are removed from the sides or from the bed? River volume, the first one. How much water is being carried by this river? The greater the amount of the water, the more will be eroded. Then the slope of the land, definitely erosion, like erosion elsewhere, is more pronounced on a steep slope. That's why here they are saying a river flowing on a steep channel has greater velocity, that is energy, and therefore more energy to load its channel than the one flowing on a gentle or flat land. So you see a river flowing on a steep slope, in a steep channel, definitely a lot will be loaded. There will be deeper and wider erosion. So river road is about the material being carried. So when it is large, rough, then heavy, talk about tree trunks, boulders, these are large rock materials. If they are being removed, then if we have fine or smooth materials, so both of these have an effect, whether in terms of how much will be carried or the effect of this erosion. Remember, in river erosion, we look at two aspects: how much is carried and the effect of the process. Nature of the bedrock. What is the rock like upon which the river is flowing? That is at the bottom of the river. So they are saying erosion is faster where a river flows over a soft bedrock, and less where it flows over hard rock. The rock at the bottom, can it easily be worn down, or it is resistant? So if it is resistant, then there will be less erosion. But if it's soft, that it gives away to erosion, definitely the rate of erosion will be high. Let's look at processes of river erosion. How a river erodes its valley. There is solution, or at times we call it corrosion, that rocks which are being eroded are soluble, or the rocks within the paths of the river are soluble. And they are giving example of limestone. So they will be dissolved. And that means they will be eroded in solution form. So erosion there, I think, not thinking, but it's true, it will be easier for the river because it is flowing over soluble rocks, so they are dissolved. And the material is taken in solution form. Then hydraulic action. This is the action of water, the force of water, which we could say sips out loose materials along the sides of the river. That this water gets into the rock cracks. And when this happens, the rock in the process is weakened. When water gets into the cracks, then eventually this rock will start giving way to erosion. There is what you call corrosion or abrasion. When the materials being carried by the river are used as the grinding material against the river valley. So when this happens, these materials grind, or they go on hitting the river valley. And in the process, materials are removed and eroded. Imagine, let's look at the situation that you are dragging a log of a rock. So along the way, this log will move on, hitting the ground. And their materials, their potholes that you'll create. So assuming there is water to pass, definitely, or to flow along the area, these materials will be carried away. Then attrition, that the materials themselves being eroded, gone colliding against each other, hitting against each other. So in the process, they increase in size. And once the size decreases, then these materials can easily be carried by the river. We are looking at river action. From there, let's look at the river profile. The outline or shape of the river valley, from the source to the mouth, from where it starts to from where it ends. This is like a journey, the lifetime of a river, where it starts and to where it ends. There are two types of profiles. There is what you call a cross profile. This is the shape of a river valley from one bank to the other, from one side to the other, where you can even jump from one side to the other. So if you jump from one side of the river to the other side, that is a cross profile. Then the long profile, the one we've been talking about, that starts from the source to the mouth. And they are saying it is a concave shaped and it is subdivided into the youth or youthful, mature, and old stage. Like our last question is indicating that. Let's start with the youthful or the younger stage. And they are saying this normally takes place in the upper section of the river valley, close to its source. So if you are in Ginger for River Nile, you are at its youthful stage. And what is there to show that this is the youthful stage of a river? The different characteristics will be seen. There is a narrow, or what you call V-shaped valley, that is from one side to the other. It is narrow, so there is even a possibility of you jumping from one side to the other. Then they are saying it is deep. So at that point of the Nile in Ginger, if you don't know how to swim, it is risky because it is deep. Deep. Then steep, because a river flows from a steep slope to a lower slope or to lowlands. So in that point, it is steep. Because of its being steep, definitely you will see the water flowing fast, or what you call a shift flow. So you don't expect water to be sluggishly flowing at this stage. It is fast flow. Then this brings about what you call waterfalls and rapids. Definitely you cannot have a rapid or waterfall where the water is not flowing at high speed. Then the channel is small. Like I've said, you can jump from one bank to the other, across it. There are some landforms: V-shaped valley, interlocking spur, waterfalls, rapids, which you are going to dig into during your research. The middle stage, we are now moving from ginger. This is a section between the source and the mouth. Now we are moving from the source, but we have not got to the mouth. They are saying, at times we call it the mature stage. It's like you're no longer a baby, but you're not yet an old man. So you are an adult there. And we are saying here the river occupies a more open valley, U-shaped. So that means the valley of the river now starts widening. It may not be easy for you to jump from one side, from one bank to the other. Then they are saying the gradient of the river is now becoming less steeper. We could say it's now getting to gentle. The speed of the river also reduces. Then there are meanders. River bends start to develop. Remember, in the youthful stage, it is a straight or more straight flow of a river. But here we have meanders. It's like a human being will start having some bending, but we don't see young people bending. So meanders start developing. Then we are also saying that the road consists of rounded boulders and small stones. What is being carried? So in this stage, there is lateral erosion. When you say lateral erosion, the sides start widening. This is erosion. Materials are being removed from the sides of the river valley. Those are carried. At times, even deposition. Yeah, the river at times loses its strength and materials start dropping along the way. That is deposition. So, meanders are there, apart some of the features. V-shaped wide open valleys. Then the cliffs can develop. Then slip-off slopes. Again, you have to dive into more of these during your revision. The old stage. We are now getting into Egypt, Mediterranean Sea. We are getting into Egypt to the Mediterranean Sea. So, the old stage develops close to the mouth of the river. So when you get to the old stage, it means the river is about to die. Can I use that? Yes, about to disappear into the ocean or into the sea or into the lake. So it is in that section which we are calling the old stage or senile. What characterizes it? What are we going to see and we stage of a river? So we are going to look at the valley widening and forming a flat plain. This is an area of deposition. Then the flow is slow. Then there is more of deposition in this area. Meanders are more pronounced. There's a lot of meanders here. Then most of the road is composed of sand and small particles. That is the old stage of the river. As it is getting into the lake, as it is ending into the ocean. What landforms are there? The floodplain, the oxbow lakes, the deltas, braided channels are all part of this. It is always a pleasure having you. May the good Lord bless you. We love you.